Now this was a fun tech shot. This is where, and so this is again, building upon my story. I started to get more creative in my personal stuff, right? So these are all my personal projects. I was trying things.
Yep.
So when I would go out with Canon to a workshop, I would say, let me try something personal. When I would go out and I would do something with Canon, I'd say, let me try something personal. If I was out on my own, I'd say, let me flip the script. Let's take surfing and put it somewhere else, right? So then I had the opportunity with Galaxy to be creative, right? So during their media day, they said, we'll give you a station. You can do whatever you want. Now at first, it's like the most exciting thing ever, but then it starts to become the most scary thing ever, because now it's like you have these athletic stars that are going to be coming through, and you either make or break, right? And it is every story that I have heard from every explorer of light and every known photographer that has come out there. It's like they all came true in this one session. You had, the celebrity that was the nicest person that gave me as much time as possible. You had the celebrity that said, no, I'm only here for 1 minute. You had the nice celebrity that wanted to give you as much time, but the press person said, no, they got to go now. I mean, anything and everything that could have happened during that media day kind of happened. It was very cool. I had another musician celebrity show up randomly, and so many things really kind of came, and it was really a lot of fun. But to me, the lesson was that it was the culmination of all of the small, as your dad likes to say, experiences, right? What you get when things don't go the way you want. It was all of those small experiences came together so that when I hit those expletive points, points, I could still make it work. So for example, this is a very simple setup. This is an EOS R camera on a pair of sticks on a tripod with one speed light behind and one speed light in front, right? So we just have it. You can see that.
Yep.
And then it's just a long exposure. And then in addition to that, the speed light will fire at the beginning of the exposure. Your subject stays still, and then you paint with light while the exposure stays open. So your shutter stays open, and you paint with light, and then you end the exposure. So this light that's going through there is me. I'm the one that's painting the light as it goes through there. So I would start the exposure, I would flash the speed lights, and then I would literally walk through. Now, there's music playing in the background, right? Whatever music that they would, kind of want to vibe to. So, in this situation, you've got some, nice merengue playing in the background, right? And then I tell him, stand still, right? Stand completely still, look right at the camera. I'm going to turn, it's going to be completely dark. Just look at the camera. It's going to flash, but just look at the camera. So now imagine, if you will, you're in a dark room. You're a multi-million-dollar athlete, and suddenly some guy was dancing around you with a rain stick. Because that's literally what I do. I'm coming around. And it's interesting. But then you get literally, as soon as I had 3 shots with Jonathan Dos Santos. This is the second shot. And he looks at it and he's like, okay. And I said, I want you just to do something that just conveys passion. And so he did this.
Stop right there. Just what you said, because I want to touch on something as we go on to the next one. How many times, because I do this, do you show your subject the photo? Because to me, it changes the whole perception. I recently heard someone's like, don't show them at all. It's like, big mistake. Because I've had experiences shooting Michael Phelps, kind of into it. You show them the photo and you see their expression change. They're more into it. They want to get a good shot because now they're seeing what you're seeing. You dancing around him, he's like, what is wrong with this guy? Is this just some favor that they did to this guy to make, grant his wish? But, how many times do you do that? And how many times do you see a difference in their presentation or their persona?
What I tell everyone, and is this should be my phrase. The more it's more important to click with people than click the shutter is a phrase that I like to say. But the phrase that I should say is that literally it is the experience. Everything comes down to the experience that you are creating. So to that point, what would happen is you'd have the previous athlete that would be leaving the room all excited. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. And then suddenly a new athlete comes into a dark room with me sitting in there. And I say, okay, stand on this X, look right at me. And okay, just focus here. You're going to just look right at me. Don't move. There'll be a flash of light. You're going to see me move around you. And then I'm going to show you what we're doing.
I'm going to dance around you.
And literally I would have them stand there and then I would show them and they're like, oh. And then to your point, 100%, now they see what you're creating. They see what you're crafting. Because if I showed them,
it creates a bond and a trust. And that's like,
and on top of that,
on top of that is them.
it's them. right? It's them. And so you're seeing an awesome photo of yourself. You know now what this person is trying to create. You're on board with this vision. And then you can say to them, to that point, now I want you to do something that conveys passion. This is what he came up with, right? Now he's like, okay, I see what you're doing. I see what's happening. And also notice what I did, right? I made sure that I went up a little bit higher. I avoided him a little bit. I saw the pose that he was going to get into, right? And again, still directing him. As soon as I saw what he did, I said, okay, now just hold that passion, because you're gonna need to hold it for the whole 15 seconds, right? And then I dance through there and go around and act all a fool with the music going, because I'm moving with the beat of the music to time it, right? So it stays at the same time. And it's just, you know, you get these results like that. So again, a lot of fun you can have. But wholeheartedly, every time I find myself shooting, I normally right around, like, let's say the quarter of 15 minutes into a shooting, right? If I haven't shown someone a photo yet, then there's something wrong, right? Usually I'm already, hey, check this out. I'm so excited. Because again, the experience that you're creating, are you excited? Are you having fun? What is the experience of the shoot? That's what they're going to have, right?
It will change the dynamic. It changes the entire dynamic of the shoot. And you're trying to capture like a special moment. When we're shooting these lifestyles or these portraits, you're trying to capture that special moment to that person. If you want them blank, they might be having a bad day, anything like that, don't show them the photo. But by showing them the photo, you're going to open a whole nother world, and it's going to change the entire look of your shoot.
100%. I had to that point though, I have had shoots where, you know, I've hit that 15-minute mark and I've recognized that, like, I haven't shown them anything, and I'm like, I need to show them something, right? Absolutely. And there have been times where, like, you know, maybe I won't show them anything. They're not, you know, they're not really into it. But so that's side projects. We'll kick things back into gear. Emilio, I see your question. We can kind of
we'll get to those.
For sure. So not a problem. But, you know, like I said, the winning aspect was fun, right? So this was one of the first shots where I really took that leap, and it kind of bleeds into Emilio's question and I took the EOS R onto the pitch after the game to take some action, or to take some celebration shots. Because again, the EOS R at the time, I kept saying, it's not the answer for action. It's not the answer for action. Clearly, as we know, the R5 and the R6, you know, that's why at the R wasn't quite the answer for action. So I said, where can I make use of this technology? So Emilio, to answer your question, you know, it's kind of like saying it's the right solution for you. You know, if I'm one of those extreme photographers like a Jimmy Chin, a DSLR is still likely an answer for me because of how much banging it's going to get even in a bag. I need that protection in extreme situations. You know, and there's a lot of that. Or even if it's not the extreme situation, extreme temperature situations could be something as well. So there are a lot of situations where that, you know, one series could be a solution for you, or just the build of a 5 series might be the solution for you. But
I mean, that 1DX3 is still my solution for the water, you know, and it's something I'm using the R5, loving it. The technology is incredible, the video, but if pipe is big and it's firing and it's good and extreme, I'm going to go to the 1DX3 without a doubt. I know it so well in and out, and I know it can handle the weather seal, everything about it. It is that workhorse for that. Now, for lifestyles and for my other thing, I'm R5. Like, I'm loving that for that. There's without a doubt, for me, it's just getting a hold of the lenses now. Now I'm going to have like multiple lenses of all kinds of sorts. The converter works great, but, you know, having those lenses that work for the specific mounts, kind of a must.
Yeah, I think, and again, so many people say, oh, you know, you got the 7200 RF and the 7200 EF. You know, I already have the EF. Do I need the RF? No, you don't need. No, you don't even need the 7200, right? I mean, you should want the 7200, right? And it's the same thing. It's no different. You can absolutely adapt the 7200 to the R series cameras, no loss of anything. Yeah. And in fact, you're actually gaining functionality, but no loss in sharpness. Yeah. But to me, like, it's as you said, once you could have the 7200 2.8 RF that's this big, I don't know that I need to carry something this big anymore. Again, it's just, it is saving some space, which is nice. You know, again, to that point, what I started to do is I really started to focus on, you know, working with the tech to get more iconic images, and I started shooting wider, right? And you saw a lot of those big images were super tight. I mean, that shot of the billboard, I mean, cut off everything because again, I love tight. And
of course,
to your other point, shoot loose, edit tight, right? I started to say, let me shoot a little bit looser. And it wasn't, Robert Morrow was the same guy that said, hey, you know, I'm going to challenge you, shoot looser and gain a little bit more. And then the same thing, I started dragging the shutter and playing with things, right? And starting to get creative. And then the same thing, Galaxy said, hey, we love that shot. Let's get creative with it. Can we make a branding thing with it, right? So again, getting now specific shots as you start to do it. And this being 60th of a second, mind you, if you're starting to work with, you know,
that's what I was just about to ask you. So
yeah,
that's good to know.
And it all depends on the speed of the runner, I found, right? So what I found personally is full speed of a major league soccer player, regardless of who they are, if they are full speed, 80th of a second seems to be really darn good for a panning shot for me, right? And it's just how I'm panning. And it kind of keeps up with them when they're at full sprint. Now, when they're kind of at a jog, 60th of the second feels good. Once you go below that, it just feels like you're really dragging at that point. It's kind of too slow for much of anything, and you get pretty muddy. But yeah, and at that point also, you're not moving too far in your overall motion that your backgrounds aren't going to get blurred, you know, because again, how small of the motion you have back there. But
understood.
So same thing, shooting
Beautiful,
wider. You can see on the right-hand side, I start to include a little bit. I was like, oh, I could include the flag to give a little bit of framing. The same thing, I was like, oh, and I always look back, right? How could I do better? I'm like, I could have included a little bit more of the flag and things like that. But I was more focused on making sure I could still see the goal and the keeper, right?
You know, it makes me feel like I'm there. This photo, it makes me feel like standing on the sideline. You have that like the wide like lens on that, seeing the flag, seeing all that. I feel like I'm standing right there watching it, you know, and that's a different like feel from those early shots of yours. But that's the beauty of like photography. We find these progressions. We have those, you've now honed your skills with the long lens. You can always go back and shoot those ones. But having that like progression that we have and adding more depth, not only like in the image, but to like our skill set is what photography is all about. It's being able to like evolve and challenge yourself, you know, because like you think this is an easy shot, but being able to like capture that moment, have your focus, have this, your exposure. There's a lot of different layers and elements that we need to do in order to create this or any type of image that you guys are working on, you know, and so that's the beauty of photography and challenging yourself.
No, absolutely. And this one, like, again, the same thing because of that kind of backlighting you have, it has that nice feel of a fashion shot because you've got the front lighting from it's just, and that's, again, nice capability. Now, what also is great, and the reason why the lighting looks so darn good here is this was like when Galaxy upgraded their LED. So all of the stadium light is LED lighting now. So it's
because you can't bring in your own lighting.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't bring that in, right? So, you know, everything's crisp. Everything's, you know, really nice. This is with the 200 f2, right?
What camera body are we at here?
This is at the 1DX Mark II.
Okay.
1DX Mark II and 200 f2, you know, so again, gorgeous fall off, great capability. This image is one that I like to stop on every once in a while for two reasons. Number one, it's one of those places we were at an away game. So this is at LAFC playing, you know, the in-city rivals. But, you know, I like how his own teammates, again, the keeper was the assignment. He's being framed, right? And he's yelling at them saying, kind of keep it up. You have all of the enemy fans behind them. But, you know, as you look at this image large, you can start to see, you know, all of their faces of all these fans. And you've got this guy almost directly above him. They're just kind of looking down at them like, come on, like you think you're going to, so, you know, so it's like, it's making sure you get faces, things like that, which are kind of nice. Again, same thing here. Like I'm kind of in soccer. I like tilt every once in a while, gives a little feel of like that motion direction. It's just, for me, I'm not always a straight horizon person because I like to do that on purpose. So these are not, you know, accidents. These are kind of done on purpose. Same thing here. Right, gives that feeling of motion. And here, I love Zlatan's face, right? Look at his face. He's like, yes, this is going to happen. I'm so excited. And, you know, you see the ball, but the ball looks like it's going the opposite direction. And here's the next shot. He does not look happy at his teammate, right? And you see the guy in the background like, come on, you know, you've got this, and you've got the keeper down here, but just a little bit of a smirk, right, on the ref, you know, is kind of nice too. But again, as you see, I start working with everything together. I'm giving foreground, I'm giving background, I'm starting to give things. But to your point, the sheer athleticism of what these people are able to do is just absolutely incredible. And that's why I always take a moment to take a step back and say, look at what these guys are doing. Look at, no kidding, no shit, they get hurt, you know, when they, you know, torn hamstrings and AC. I mean, the guy is like so stretched out and doing this stuff. It is incredible what they're able to do and how quickly they're able to move themselves.
Yeah.
Again, here he is doing a bicycle kick. I mean, the guy is almost flat with his body, and he's still taller than the other guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's like, so,
Yeah.
and that was the guy supposed to defend against him. So again, the capability. Now, this shot here, again, what I love about this shot, you know, I always like sharing the stories behind them, as you know. This was shot at 4,000th of a second, iOS 400 on the 200, or sorry, this is 70 to 200. And what I love about this shot is that this was a sequence where almost everyone saw him going up for the ball. We saw it happened in slow motion. Everybody saw it. They saw the ball go up. He was eyeing it. Everyone was eyeing it. And we all looked down. We see him look at it. And you see everyone along the line pull their cameras up. And as soon as it was done, you see all of us, because he scored, the celebration was there. And then you see all of us saying, who got it? Who got it? Who got the kick? On this side with his face, I was the only one that got the kick. Because, because again, capability is sheer luck of where I was. I had a clear shot of his face. No one else had a clear shot of his face because, again, they were a little, could have gone the other way. It's just where it's location. It's where I was, right? So again, sports photography is the product of timing. Exactly. It's the product of right place, right time, and being prepared, right? So even though you can be at the right place, you got to be prepared, right? A little luck and that preparation as well.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Between Sets. Make sure to like and subscribe to be tuned in on all future episodes. Thank you.